what is now Week in Review in World, or Inworld Week in Review, or something. The Inworld!
All right, well, welcome everybody to another episode of the In-World Review. My name is James Atloud, and I hope you're all hearing and seeing what we have to share today. I'm really happy because this episode we have our special guest is Xenon Darrow. And I don't know, Xenon, if you'd just like to say a quick hello.
Hi, everybody. It is once again a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to talking way too long.
All right. I love it. I also have our regulars here, so I'll go right next to Xenon is Thurza. Thurza, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, nice to be here once again.
All right. And then on our left side of the stage, we have, let me get my cameras right here. We've got, first of all, Pet Love Pet Shop is sitting here. Welcome, Pet Love.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
And next to Pet Love, we have Tasha Tyran. Welcome, Tasha.
Well, thank you, James, and thank you everybody else for receiving me.
All right, fantastic. We've got a full house, so this is really exciting. So before we get on with our program today, I hope you're all getting a good signal out there in YouTube land. We're going to go with a review of this week's hypergrid happenings. So let me move to that.
For Inworld Review, I'm Thurza Ember, and this is Hypergrid Happenings. I'd like to mention, first of all, that this week we have, of course, Saturday night on Event Plaza over on OS Grid. This is one of the oldest parties in OpenSim. It's a 12-hour-long session. It starts at 7 a.m. and it finishes at 7 p.m. with DJ Aussie running the whole show. But we have Acidic Loop, Yuba Heartfelt, we have Eva, Evan Williams, we have Dan Sings, and of course the wonderful Greybeard playing his guitar. So don't miss that. I'm sure one of these hours is probably a time when you can come over and be part of the community. Another great thing happening on Saturday also is a Burns night over on Alternate Metaverse Grid. Of course, it's the clan Escotia who will be singing, and there'll be a huge Scottish celebration on the liner Aurora. You can experience the real life Scottish culture, and maybe they'll serve you some haggis. Who knows? You might get lucky. That's also on Saturday, January the 24th, and it begins at 10 a.m. Good time. Also on Craft this week, it's a big deal because they're having their 16th birthday party. It's going to be a wonderful gathering of all people who've been in craft over the years, and they'll be taking us around their expo, showing off all the work that's been done in the grid at the moment with education, art, and more. This is happening on Tuesday, 27th of January, and it begins around 12 noon grid time. So don't miss that over on Sim Jubilee. And of course, don't forget also there'll be a safari this Wednesday. It's week 4 of our trip. We're going to Neverworld, and we're also going to craft to the Museum of the Metaverse. So that's going to be really exciting. And of course, we also have a new episode of Inworld Review happening this Sunday at 11 a.m. with Zen and Darrow as our guests. So as you can see, there's plenty of happening all around OpenSim this week. And we hope you'll join us on Inworld Review this Sunday, and see you there.
Wow, and here we are.
Yeah.
So
you can tell I was fighting a cat during that.
Right, and I don't.
Yeah, so I just wanted to.
Yeah, go right ahead, Thursday. Well, I was just going to say, I don't know if people understand. We are playing that short that we publish every week, and then we play the short now, and Thursday's going to guide us through some expansion on those hypergrid happenings.
Yeah, you can watch the short on our YouTube channel every week, whereas the Inworld review is only twice a month. So that's a way to keep up what's going on all over OpenSim on a weekly basis. And I did want to mention this wonderful Burns Night show that they had yesterday over on AMV. It was just fantastic. Claire Scotia, of course, singing, but also reading some poetry. It was just fantastic. Cliff did a great set also. He's a brilliant DJ, all songs very appropriate for the occasion. As you can see, everything was tartan. There was some river dancing going on in the background, but luckily I don't think Claire noticed that. Here's the band. I don't know if you know these girls. They're just fantastic. Webby, of course, and Rain. And she also had with her Julieta and Miko, who I believe is an NPC. They were all playing the bagpipes. It was really hilarious. Dressed up to the nines and standing behind Clan, who not only read the classic Blessing on the Haggis and another couple of Burns poems. He also read two of his own poems. I don't know if you realize, he's a very talented guy. It just was wonderful to hear his poetry too. And this is the ship we were on. Do you guys remember going on the ship on James and Tosha for sure must remember?
Oh, sure.
We went on a...
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Absolutely huge.
Really great, yeah.
It's taken more than an hour to see everything on there. It's just brilliant, that ship. And this is another event that happened. It was actually 2 weeks ago now. And this was, many people remember Emelina de Moore. She was a fashion designer over on DigiWorlds. Had a big shop over there. And sadly, she died just before Christmas. So there's this big gathering over on Digi. There was 30 people showed up. It was just incredible to hear them all speaking in voice, their friendship with her. Some of them friends way back into the days of Second Life and had stuck together through Inworlds and just moving around OpenSim. It was just really moving to hear them all. And they had this wonderful part towards the end where there were candles. Everybody had a chance to, have a moment of silence in candlelight. So it's really nice. But getting back to this week's Hypergrid happenings, this building should be familiar to Tosha because she's worked over here. This is the Craft's 16th anniversary build, and it's a big expo. And how do you feel, Tosha? Because you've been with the group for the whole 16 years.
Oh yeah, I think it's really exciting. I mean, to recall that it's been so many years, and I've been working on there the last days quite a bit, and on my own exhibit, and I hope you all come to see it. But the others too, they're very exciting and beautiful exhibits of new people and also of old ones like me. It's really very, very nice.
Nice.
And so many educators too, with you've got IP Verso, haven't you got, of course, Annoy Lab and I can't think of them all. Edu 3D, just so many people. Johnny Spada, of course, he's got his bill. He's a teacher too. So many educators. So just fantastic.
Oh yeah, there is one special little booth I want to recommend to people. That is English Chat. We're a group of people, a very reduced group of people that are chatting in English because very many people know to read and to write English, being longer time in OpenSim, but they have problems speaking. And so we get together to practice the speaking, and I think that's really nice. And we have a real life American citizen there who is really perfectly to teach us all well.
Okay.
So that is really great.
That's nice.
Give him a shout out. That's isn't it? Emil Jannings.
Yes.
Oh, right,
What a wonderful man.
Right.
That's
He's a
awesome.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's really all I wanted to say about Hypergrid happenings for this week, and we'll have another episode for you to laugh at next Saturday. So you can look forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I had to laugh at the haggis comment, and that was
Lord.
just try to imagine. Have you had haggis?
I have, yeah.
Oh,
I was.
okay.
not an experience I intend to repeat, but let's not mention that.
All right. I've only
but
heard
at least
it.
you can say you've done it.
Right. I've only heard it by reputation. So, all right.
Yeah.
For dummies,
big
what
in
is
Italy.
haggis?
Oh,
It's
good
like a
question.
sheep's stomach, and they put into the sheep's stomach all the other bits of the sheep that you probably wouldn't normally
Yeah,
think
yeah,
of
yeah,
eating.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they boil it
Yeah.
until it's
yeah,
dead.
I think it doesn't sound so.
I think if you've drunk
great.
enough Scotch whiskey, probably it's fine.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
But anyway, it's a fantastic celebration. They do it every year. I mean, joking apart,
Yeah.
Clan is, 100% Scottish, and he really, it was like a real Burns night. I felt like it was just the best. And they really do a great job over there on AMB. Congratulations to them all. And Webby, of course, who choreographs so much over there. Just, she's a goddess.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks again, Thurza, so much for sharing that and keeping us up to date on what's going on all around Open Simulator and the Hypergrid. And I think that brings us then to our special segment to speak today with Xenon Darrow. And my goodness, I've seen Xenon around the Hypergrid so much, so many different places. And if you can, you've got to check up on some of the biographic information about Xenon. She's done amazing projects in RL and in virtual worlds. And we're just going to, again, as usual, we're going to scratch the surface of a very deep and capable life in OpenSim. And let me just start. Let me get back to script and start with the first question, Xenon. And actually, I'm going to turn on your slides here in World as well. So when you're ready. So Xenon, you've been in OpenSim for about 4 years, but you were in SL for a long time before that, as was I and many other people. You had a real life business there working for external real life companies, not making content to sell for other SL residents. Can you tell us what you made and why a virtual platform was ideal for what you made?
Sure. I entered SL about, I want to say 20 years ago, just about, maybe 2007 or 8. I meant to go look and see how old my oldest Abby was, and I did. And I had a learning and development consulting firm at the time, and my clients were mainly Fortune Petrochems. SL was I decided to make it my 3D commercial design, 3D commercial that was designed to drive business to my company. And so we never intended to make money in World. And it was perfect that way until the exodus, right, that happened. I think that was around, 2010 or 11?
Mm-hmm.
And so we did lots and lots of petrochem training, process safety, all soft skills to support the work. My major client for decades was Shell across many of their divisions. And I was the preferred provider for the North American Matte Pack refineries for instructional design for 12 years. But my client roster included a lot of other Fortunes and higher ed institutes, and even some in the billions dollar earning private businesses. And we'd show clients applications that we built in World, like we made a distillation column that would break apart, and then show remember, this is thousands of years ago when that was a big deal. And so we'd make a distillation column that would break apart and show the functions, and that way, we could show operators what was happening and what was involved. And so clients would look at that and they'd go, wow, that's incredible. We're never going to do that, but if you can do that, you can do these other 5 projects like they're nothing about nothing, and then we do that and make a lot of money. So it was perfect, right? And so we get the good stuff that was easy for us. It worked really well, and we pushed into the educational grants market. So the couple of projects that I did that were actually in World, one was with a major medical school to get the $2 million Reynolds grant the last year that it was given. And that was an Inworld project for training residents in geriatric treatments, medical residents. And then the other project was a P-Tech project with a local college, and we got them an $800,000 grant. But then they changed the parameters of that project, and we backed away from it. So on the screen, I'm going to show you a couple of projects we did this is where we really ended up, kind of our sweet spot was doing things in World that we then brought out of World. Okay. And this, remember again, these avatars look this way. This project, I think, was in 2009 or 10 with a company called OSCA, the Occupational Safety Council of America. And basically, you have a lot of these safety councils that teach refinery safety overview courses for contractors that are coming in to refineries for the first time. Oh, that was good. And so this is just a piece of what I'm going to show you. So this is kind of where it begins. And what we did is we said, you know what, we're going to make this a graphic novel. This was originally about 200 PowerPoint slides that had about 25% white space. And so we said, you know what, they gave it to me and said, just fix it, right? It was miserable. It was 8 full hours of training in the classroom. They had to take an exam in the end. It was full of regulatory stuff, like 70 questions. People were ESL, so they were really struggling. They could take it up to 3 times and their failure rate was still phenomenal. So they said, please fix this.
Because
and
it was
so
too
what
dense?
I came up,
It was just too dense.
yeah, it was terrible.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the field and I couldn't have done it. And so, yeah, because it was all CFRs, right? So now you're taking people who are just doing practical work in the refinery and we're trying to make them memorize CFRs. And it was crazy. So I took that and I said, you know what, let's do a graphic novel. Let's do a storytelling approach. And we're going to make a character that we're going to walk through each unit in the refinery. And as we do that, that character's growth in the field will change. We'll be able to introduce different kinds of personal protective equipment, PPE, as well as the hazards within each of these functional areas. So what we came up with was this, with the refinery safety overview. And then that's old Xenon, by the way, back in the ancient days. And then we made this character Arturo, an avatar named Arturo. And then what we did is, see that in the background is the, what do you call it, the distillation column we had made.
Okay.
And we said, okay, I wanted to do a really accelerated, Lazanov's accelerated learning approach, which includes advanced organizers, different kinds of games for, you know, like checking to make sure people see things along the way, right? Learn things along the way, formative evaluation, but it's fun and it's interactive and they're all playing together. And then the other part of it is it's a very artistic approach. So we said, okay, let's do mixed media, right? Let's have real life things, signage, backgrounds, like you'll see in a minute, some of the units, so that they can recognize these things, right? And so Arturo comes in and now he's seeing all this stuff. He has to learn about his basic PPE. He has to learn about, there's 4 things he needs to know. I didn't include that. And so then we introduce these components. And later on, we'll introduce, like, this is turnaround. For turnaround, you have to wear the Tyvek suit. We'll have different types of headgear. And then each time we introduce this, they would play a game that I like to call paper dolls, but for some reason these tough operators don't like that, so they named it Ready for Work. And we literally had a cutout, I'll show you in a minute, of a magnetic cutout there of Arturo in his long underwear, and then they would have to dress him. We had about 100 pieces at the end of the game for different ways they would dress him. And so every time he went into a different area, we would give them more pieces, right? And then we'd give them a scenario and they'd have to dress him.
Can I ask you a quick question? So this
Sure.
is back in the day before mesh, right?
That's correct. That is
right.
correct.
So basically, the stuff that we're looking at here in this picture, these are the things you had to make it, some of it out of just prims.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yes, everything
This
you're
is all-
looking at is
wow.
prims.
That's incredible.
Everything. So some of the things I was able to buy and we just retextured them. Like I found a refinery that we could buy. So even though it wasn't accurate, we could pull parts of it out. If you notice in the background, like you can barely see it here, but this that is actually a real texture of a tank, of a storage tank. this is a real photograph of like an area inside a refinery. You can't see it as well. And so all of these things that you're seeing were designed. And like this tag, you don't have a great picture of it, but it's a real tag for lockout, tag out.
Yep.
And so this is probably 4 modules in where they're learning about acid gear and hazards in this part of the refinery. This is all real looking, this is all photographs from actual refineries that's in the background. And then
it sounds like a lot of work and a lot of fun.
It was a lot of work and a lot of fun, but you know what really sells this is to make these things. We had a few little animated videos embedded, and to make these things from scratch, like to make, and back then, remember, it's 1,000 years ago, and dinosaurs ruled the earth, and we're doing this in stone tablets. And to make these characters from scratch in a graphics program was phenomenally expensive, right? To build things in a graphics program cost a ton of money. Whereas we're able to go in here, spend a few hours building sets and some prim parts, putting together avatars, and boom. So we were doing this for like a fraction, literal fraction of a cost, like maybe 1/100th of what it would cost to do it in graphics programs and have it come out the quality that we were getting. And I actually, was doing presentations about this for TXDLA at the time, for Texas Distance Learning. That was, again, a long time ago when distance learning was a big deal. And I showed one of the videos we made of this, and this videographer in the audience stood up and said, "You just changed my business."
Ooh,
because
right.
I showed him the cost of making that video, the actual real cost. And he said, "You just altered my business. Like, you just opened up a world for me."
Right. And once you've built the objects, all you have to do is photograph them, and you have infinite possibilities of photographing.
That's right. That's exactly right. Photograph and film, and you're golden. So this, to me, that was the exciting thing about this is we can have these, I know this is very primmy, but we can, at the time, it was really sexy. And we can have these amazing pieces of graphic work without having to be graphic artists, right? And having to build everything from scratch, or living with a package we were given that we paid $500 or $600 for as an add-on for an authoring tool that doesn't look like what we want.
Yep.
So what this company did, they were really cool. I really did enjoy working with them a lot. I had a relationship with them for about 15 years. And so they made us an actual graphic novel, right? And so you can see the background, like we picked a lot of silhouettes that if you're a refinery worker and you're going around in these refineries, you need to know what those images are. You want familiarity, site familiarity, right? And so this was the cover. This is where we start to see our graphic novel part, the storytelling, and our slides matched this, and the students would read along, which is part of the Lizanoff Accelerated Learning model. And so here we would take them through each piece of this, and even though this looks like a lot, each module was a total of 5 to 10 slides, and it had a 1 to 2 minute videos in them. And so we made this monstrous 200, slide thing. And I think at the end it ended up being 50 slides, but with videos embedded. And each module content introduction took a total of about 5 minutes. Okay. And then the reinforcement that we would do through it would take another 10 or 15. And then there would be discussion, and then they would play a game.
Oh,
this is Paper Dolls. I'm sorry, Ready for Work.
Yeah.
And so and so here's I still have the copy of this game, by the way. Here's Arturo in his long underwear, and they're dressing him with basic PPE. As they get more pieces, they have to we give them other scenarios, right? And so now we said, hey, if he's doing a turnaround, what does he need to wear? We also gave them cheat sheets so they could see all the different outfits, right? Which is part of the Lizanoff model.
Oh, that sounds really fascinating.
Yeah.
It was fun. This class went from being 8 hours of torture to 4 hours to maybe 5. that we couldn't get the
Yeah, it
students
looks like
to
you made
leave.
it like a game,
Yeah.
really.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
it was a delight, and then it went from being the class that instructors hated to teach to we had like people would fight to teach it, right? And it was so robust. It lasted 8 years.
Wow.
I mean, these guys,
Fantastic.
Wow.
yeah, and they never until the state came back and said, "Hey, you need to update this." They changed the requirements. They didn't make any changes to it. So, and then they had me come in, I'm so proud, and teach their new guys ISD, Instructional Systems Design, and the Lizanoff model. And they created something that was so much better than anything I could ever do. They actually made a giant board game. And, you know, to have that happen, to be able to do this, and these things save people's lives, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This prevented accidents. This prevented people dying and getting exposures. So we had a little thing here, and then periodically throughout the class we go, hey, find a picture of a cooler, and they'd look through these and show it. You know, one of them will raise their hands. They're at tables and they would compete for it, not because we told them to. They just do that. And then we had a series of these cards that we had made that had like what the units are producing, whether there were chemical hazards that were chronic or long-term, physical hazards, visible hazards, invisible hazards, like a gas release is invisible, but a steam release is visible. And
Pretty
so as
amazing.
we moved
Yeah.
on, there ended up being like 200 cards in this deck, and they would have to sort through them rapidly, right, and find them. And they had a blast, you know,
That's
big tough
fantastic.
guys playing these games.
Oh yeah, those
Oh,
are
and they're
exciting times in
Yes,
Second
and
Life
they
too. The
oh yeah,
opportunity
and
to
they
do that. Yeah.
and they let me redesign their exam, which is another area of specialization. The number of people that passed the first time was exponential.
Fantastic.
And it wasn't an easy thing, trust me. Like I made sure it matched the old one without it being specific CFRs. And because this method works, right?
Yep.
So that was my first kind of in-world effort that I took outside and made an application.
All right. So I hate to say it, but we should probably try and move along if we can. So
Yeah. No.
okay.
Let me
Okay.
do
Yep.
it fast, okay?
Yep.
Now, so go ahead.
Well, I think that sounds really quite amazing, and it shows very well of what you can do in virtual worlds, you know, and in just in the everyday work also. And my question would be, Xenon, what in the end brought you to OpenSim, and how do you view this alternative to SL in terms of your creativity, in terms of your possibilities for work, community, and the growth?
So what brought me here is freedom, the freedom to create, the freedom to learn, the cost, right?
Oh man.
Because land is
Right.
so much cheaper. So when I came back into SL after 10 years and started doing things for my university, I really couldn't afford a big piece of land to do them on, right? And also you can go to different grids and get different types of tech available. And I say it's better. So in SL, when you're in SL, I kind of treat it like the Camry, right? You get in it and you just start it and you don't really think about it. And you take it to the dealership and they put the oil in it. You don't have to really know anything but how to drive. Here, we are the muscle car. We are the 69 Camaro, right? That has the bored out 350 and the hearse shifter on the floor. And you get to get into the guts of that thing and do whatever you need to do. And I love that. Again,
I like the
it's freedom
space.
of
Yeah, the freedom and the
Yeah.
space, and the freedom gives you the chance to make mistakes and do
That's
things
right.
over and try again. Which sometimes when you have that cost, it does slow you down.
It does,
And
absolutely.
if the wheels fall off, you kind of just have to deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And the hypergrid, I love it because there's so much variety, so many things we could be doing. There's always something fun to do. It's diverse. I love the community that we have. Since I've been here, is everybody perfect? No, there's about 4 or 5 people that are always, the challenges, but I love it. I love the diversity, and the majority of people I meet are absolutely fantastic, and I love them. Intellectual property rights is one of the most critical things. When SL changed their intellectual property rights and now you share it, there should be no more grants in there, right? This is why all the mass exodus happened with the corporations. And there should be no more grants, honestly, because when you get a grant from the federal government or from an institution, that intellectual property is supposed to exclusively be theirs, and that is not true.
Right.
So here, each grid owner has that right, and I exclusively select grids that respect those intellectual property rights and actually have them legally documented.
Well, actually, I can second each one of your arguments here, really.
Yeah. And that's why educators need to be coming here to do their grant work, right? I mean, that
actually brings us to the very next question I wanted to ask you, and that is, we know that you're a Virtual World Education Ambassador. And I was wondering, how long have you been that? How long will it last? And what exactly does it mean? Can you explain it to us a little bit?
Sure. So this is for Virtual Worlds Education Consortium. And they're a real organization that started in Second Life several years ago. And they started coming into OpenSim. Some people wanted to pull them in here. And they realized that there are multiple grids. And so they immediately found Kitely because it's the biggest, right? And the group who was pulling them in was at Kitely. So they established an ambassador at Kitely, understanding that there are other grids. And so I had approached them when I moved to Wolf Territories because Lone asked me to, right? He said, hey, do you know these guys? We'd love to be part of it. Ask them what we need to do to be on their website. What do we need to provide them? And when I went, they said, great, you can be the ambassador for Wolf Territories. And I was like, okay.
But what actually does it do? Can you explain to our audience, what does the VWEC do? What is their purpose, and what would they like people to do here in OpenSim? What's the purpose?
So what we do is we actually, what an ambassador does is I'm simply like the Wolf Territories representative. We create, yearly, we are creating events for people to come learn, for people to see what's possible. I wasn't elected, right? So there's no time limit until they get tired of me or I get tired of it, or I do something terrible and they get rid of me. And so, as my duties, we come up with events that we're going to do all year that hopefully are supportive of educators and lifelong learners. So teaching different concepts around education in the virtual world. And so we're constantly inviting people, come on, we have events, we have things we try to teach them to do unique things in the virtual world. And this year, we had our kickoff meeting in January. I think you popped in there. And that was just exploring, what people are up to, how can we support them, letting them know what we're up to. And then in February, we have self-care with Kriyatya Shannon. She's going to be doing a piece about that, a seminar about that. Okay. In March, I'm going to be doing a significant workshop that's about promotion and marketing in OpenSim, because a lot of people, ironically, don't know how to do that, and it's a big stop for them coming over here. In SL, they find it very easy. In April, so another thing that happened was we were only going to do quarterly events, right? But now there was enough interest that we had somebody move to Wolf Territories that has museums. We're working on them doing a museum tour in April. In May, we have the SL VWEC kickoff party, so we're going to do a kickoff party as well. And that's kind of who we are and what we're up to.
So interesting.
It really
And that
is
all ties right
interesting.
into the last question,
Mhm.
which you've really sort of answered already. But if there's anything else you want to embellish,
Sure.
why do you think OpenSim has potential in terms of both teachers and learners? What is it about OpenSim and this whole virtual environment that makes it all work so well? And is there anything you'd like to see the community develop as far as resources and the audience go?
Oh my gosh, I could spend 4 hours,
I know,
but I
I'm
won't. Okay, I
sure.
promise.
Yep.
Um, Virtual worlds demonstrate this amazing opportunity for lifelong learning. And so we can apply these accelerated learning applications with real gamification. We can apply creative methodologies. We can do advanced, and what we see here is advanced and continuous neuroplasticity in a unique population, which is a population over 55, basically.
Yep.
We can do amazing learning research here, including for this specified population. And then we have the opportunity for true gamification for advanced applications for models like Lizanoff. And then, doing these amazing visions that we can actually bring to life. And also, the accessibility opportunities, right? People can actually get in here and participate in a way that they may not be able to in real life.
Right.
And being on grid, one of the things I love about Wolf Territories is he is always trying to create things that that take into mind accessibility, which has been really hard to find in the virtual worlds a lot of the time. So
That's so
one of the things
interesting.
I'd like, one of the things I'd like to see develop back in the ancient times in that other place, there were skills universities abound. And I originally bought teasers just prior to Linden Labs removing the stipends. But we continued that university under my company name, Illuminata, and we became something else. We still had basic learning, but we became a place where people could learn by practice and doing. And it became my 3D commercial for my business. So I'd love to see that happen here. I recently saw that our former ambassador for Kitely and Kim Starr and Kashari, Cooper Swizzle, Kim Starr and Kashari, started a learning effort, and they seem to be getting a lot of interest, and a lot of it has to do with learning basic skills, right? Working, building, landscaping, moving around, and some very advanced things. And I'm really excited to see that. I would love to see that. I'd love for people to come in and have 100 choices to learn from.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, to be fair, that's one of the wonderful things that has always been around here in OpenSim. Classes, Blender classes. I can remember that right from my first years here, back in 2009, 2010. There have always been people willing to do that, and I really have to admire them very much, because it's not easy to create a lesson plan and come up with new things to explain in an accessible way. It's really not easy. And so well done to all teachers here in OpenSim.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a maybe unusual question, but
Sure.
I've often heard it said that OpenSim is kind of the place where there are a lot of creators, just because of those opportunities, and that Second Life is a little bit more the place of consumers, where people come, to enjoy things that have been created or provided. What do you think OpenSim can do to bring more of the people who want to consume the things that are being created? Does that even make any sense?
It does make sense. That's a really good question. And I will tell you from personal experience, I had not come to OpenSim. I knew about it back. I was there when SL made their original application open source, right? And that's where OpenSim evolved from. But, it was just a bunch of individual developers. People were making these tiny little grids. And it wasn't very exciting, right? And so I didn't go in there. And then I was away for 10 years from the whole virtual world thing. And when I came back, but by the way, I was friends with Selby Evans from day one when I came into SL.
Yep.
So Selby, I had been on LinkedIn, and he, was a Kitely guy. And so he was constantly updating his newsletter all the time. And so I had my eye on it, but I wasn't thrilled with what I was seeing. And then I had meant to go to OSCC like for 1,000 years, and I ended up coming here and I saw a bunch of people with really cool avatars, and it turned out I knew them all. And then Dave Fleeson, Sun Tzu, drugged me in here kicking and screaming, and I was hooked. So I didn't know. It truly is. People don't know. They just don't know what's available, and they don't know the variety, and they don't understand when they get here some of the things that we take for granted, like hypergridding, like finding things, because we don't have a central marketplace. But to me, that's part of the coolness, right? You make a community. It's just like a real MMO, right? Or RPG. You get to know people, right? They help you. So it really is just lack of good advertising, honestly.
Well, I think we're working on it, and our little program here is working on it. Thursday's blog is working on it.
Absolutely.
There's sites like OpenSimWorld, HyperCat, other. I think a lot of Facebook is helping to drive people in, but if you can drive your friends in to enjoy this stuff, I think that's.
Oh my gosh, I try to drag them in, and I'll tell you one of the biggest. I've said this for decades, and I can't believe people still argue with me about it. The two biggest barriers to entry to coming in here are the computer requirements, and especially now because the technology is so expensive all of a sudden, and the learning curve it takes.
Right.
And people just get frustrated, right? They come in, they don't know how to do things, and they do that in SL, but SL kind of has it. It's a little easier to navigate, right?
Right. Yep. Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned accessibility in some of your learning design, and I've often said to my friends, I love virtual worlds. They're exciting, dynamic, but it's in a way kind of the most inaccessible medium that we have because of the technical challenges getting in
until they get used to it.
Yeah, right.
I think that if you can teach people how to thrive and work in petroleum foundations and so on and so forth, I think what you've already done could be done for OpenSim. There should be a way to orient people, and let them identify what they're looking for and go for it.
Right.
Well, the problem, let me tell you, we did that with a medical school.
Yeah.
And students are poor.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they required them to buy these really nice computers, right? And then SL, during the middle of that project, changed the graphic requirements. And so these students have bought computers that were supposed to last 4 years, and they don't work anymore in Second Life. So now, I will tell you this. I know y'all probably heard this. Lone is actually creating a Firestorm in a browser.
Yeah.
And it actually works better than what SL has done. And it's almost done. He's still in alpha right now, or pre-beta, but it's almost done. And it is the game changer. You can get on it with with computers that cost like $600. Okay. And on it, he said you can get on it with a Chromebook, possibly an iPad.
Amazing.
So that could be a huge game changer for people being able to actually, and I mean, SL, you can barely do anything on theirs. It's very limited, but this would be, you can do everything that you can do with Firestorm, including development. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping it's coming along rapidly, but that would be a huge game changer for getting people in.
It sure would.
That would be awesome.
Oh, we're I say, we're just scratching the surface of things, but I do want to make sure that you have an opportunity. Do you have anything that you want to tell us that is coming up that you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I've said, I've been working on this forever, and I even feel bad saying it. But, every time I say it, I'm like, it'll really get me moving again. And that is, I taught this instructional systems design program for 12 years, or for 20 years, actually, with it, the majority of it being with Shell. And I have had in the works, I found a region. I've done work on it sporadically. I'm now digging into it. That will be an adventure region for you to go in on your avatar and go through this adventure and learn about instructional systems design as well as Lizanov's accelerated learning.
Okay.
So it is coming now with AI. Thank God, it's coming along a lot faster because I'm actually able to do I mean, I'm actually able to get AI to do some of the scripting that I need.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
it's very, very exciting. And it's probably going to be another year, but I'll keep you posted.
Very cool.
That's great.
Wow. Well,
I'll take that course.
we can put some
Welcome.
more information in the description of the recording for today's show. But if people want to find you, where would they go?
Well, first of all, I'm on World, right, as
Okay.
Xenon Darrow.
Yep.
I'm at Wolf Territories. That's where my region is. Just come to Wolf Territories, and I'm there. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I am me, and you can find me through VWEC.
Okay. All right.
You can just find me because you can ask people and they'll go, "Oh my God, that girl."
That girl.
I don't, notoriety is a good thing sometimes,
well, true,
right?
true, right.
And of course, I have 50 regions over at Wolf, and
Oh, wow.
my region that I live on is La Khalifa, but anybody's welcome to come. I think the region you can go to that's like just the singular region that you can kind of get entry is called the Pinky Toe. And
Oh, cool.
and it's because all of my regions are in this giant block, right?
Mhm.
And then there's one little region down at the bottom that's all by itself, so I named it the Pinky Toe. And that's kind of my little welcome place. But the big thing is just reach out to me. I'm Xenon Darrow on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here.
All right. Well, thanks so much. It's interesting you mentioned AI, but yeah, Tasha, did you have another question? Well, we're going to have news and views, and I think we've got some AI in there to talk about as well. But Tasha, did you have a question?
No. I just said that I thought it was interesting.
Okay. Wow. Well,
Thanks, guys. I always love being on here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and I've really enjoyed this. So Pet Love, what do you think about some news and views?
I say let's do it.
All right.
Thank you. And I say, welcome to Virtual News and Views again. Today, we'll cover a little bit about upcoming events at Pangea. We'll hear the latest about how long Discord might still be available to us all. And last, we'll cover a listing of AI tools that I gathered that we're going to have to study for the next couple of months. But don't worry, it won't be hard. So, I don't think I'm presenting my slides properly, but...
Well, you can click in the column on the left of the screen that we're seeing and go to the next slide.
Okay, good. First is Pangea.
Oh, yeah, we're not seeing it change. Oops.
I'm so sorry. Am I not in presenters yet? I bet I'm not.
Yeah,
this
try
is
that.
Something I need to go to school for, too. So, let's see.
On the screen that we're seeing, you should have a button at the top that has the slideshow drop down, and you can do presenter view.
I have that.
Okay.
I have speaker notes showing. And I have slide number 2 showing. Let me do slide number 1.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the wrong screen. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Not a problem. Here's
All right.
another one.
Okay.
Let's try this one. Nope, no good. Well,
Well, you want to talk us through it?
yep, I can do
Okay.
that.
All right.
So you can see the notes on the side, actually. Pangea is having a carnival, and it starts in February. We know we've talked a lot about Pangea lately, but we didn't want to miss this opportunity to talk about the carnival. So on the 2nd of February, no, I'm sorry, on the 12th of February is the party, big old party. On the 16th of February, there's a beautiful Rose Monday parade, they call it. And who doesn't love a beautiful parade in the virtual world?
Mm-hmm. I love the parade.
Honestly, who doesn't?
Yep.
And then on the 17th of February is the burning of the Nubble. And I'm going to have to go just to see what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts at 10. All of these start at 10 a.m. grid time. at, I think it's 10 a.m. That's 1900 in Universal Time. So yeah, go to Pangea. You won't be sorry. And now, next, I have a lot of slides about AI and production tools for people who use AI to make films, to create mesh models. And I'm sorry, I'm just a technological basket case today here, folks. It's sad, but true. Let's see now.
Well, even just summarize, what you learned with the AI.
I will.
Yeah.
There are a good 14 programs, and you'll see all of these slides when this is published on YouTube. And what I wanted to suggest was that everybody make sure to come back to this show on the web so you can see the slides properly and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But we basically looked up the most popular programs, and Midjourney 7, Adobe Firefly, Topaz Astra, Adobe Express, something called Perchance, Meshy, 3D AI Studio. I have a lot of really terrific slides here. It's really a shame you can't see them. But they'll all be available on the show on YouTube. So I summarized what each one of them does, and then there's a chart that just sort of gives you the list of names again and indicates which are free, which make an image to a model, which will do text to image, and so on and so forth. And that's basically everything I was going to talk to you about and show you. I'm sorry, it's just not going to work this week.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, but the technology.
Since you could not show the slides, we have a moment of time still left over, and maybe I can explain to you the burning of the Nobel.
Thank you.
Oh,
That would
please
be
do.
awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
That is a thing that they do only in the Carnival of Cologne in Germany. And the Nobel is a big straw doll, practically, a doll. And they put it on the ground and they burn it, and everybody's sins during the carnival will be burned up and therefore forgiven.
Oh, that's great. Will it excuse me for not having my slides right?
There you go. See?
Yeah,
and also,
right.
of course, as we mentioned last time, this is actually the 20th year that Marlon Wayne of Pangea Grid has organized this event. He started, of course, in Second Life, not here, doing that. So it's a special anniversary for them too, and that's what I call continuity. To be able to continue doing the same thing for 20 years in a row is fantastic.
Right.
That is true.
You know what? I forgot to mention the Discord bit of news that I came up with. How about I throw that in?
Sure.
Oh, yes,
That'd
please.
be all right? Okay. There was some scary talk about Discord being sold. And that made me remember when Skype was sold and what a headache that was. But apparently Discord's not going to be sold. They're going to instead go in for an initial public offering, an IPO, and they want to offer the stocks out to the public. Maybe they might work a little with Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan as underwriters. They've already denied Microsoft the privilege. And so it looks like we're not going to lose Discord. And I did want to share that.
Well, that is hopeful.
Thanks. Yeah, good news.
Yes, I
Some
hope
hope, isn't it?
Yeah, we're pretty dependent on it here.
We really
news
are.
that it will be sold, but if it is such good news that it will be going onto the market, I am not so sure about that.
Yeah.
The good news, though, is that there's always lots of options out there. So if one doesn't work out for us and with our particular needs and desires in our open sim mentality, then something else will come along. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Indeed. We bounce.
We
do
bounce. That's right.
yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're flexible.
Thank God.
All right. Well, thank you, Pat Love. Thanks for bringing us some of that news.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
I
sorry.
think that brings us to the end of another program. So let me just thank our production team here, and I'll start with Tasha. Tasha, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're most welcome, and I'm sure glad that you're so patient with me.
Oh, absolutely. Patient with everybody. We have so many things we have to accomplish on these things that we're doing, but we all also have passion about what we're doing, and that's what I think makes the difference.
Is true. And that's why I've come back. I've been
Yay.
offline for quite a while, and I come back because I missed you guys, I missed the work, and I missed the passion that I had for this show.
Fantastic.
Well, you're perfect for this show. You really are.
Yeah. And
So
Pet Love,
thank you.
Thank you, Pet Love.
You're sort of welcome.
All right. And thanks to Thurza. Thurza, thank you for everything you bring to the program.
It's been a real interesting show once again. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been fun to be with you.
Yeah, you bet. And again, a special thank you to Xenon. Thanks for joining us and telling us about just the little bits of what you could share about what you're doing. So glad to see you so busy.
Always a pleasure and
Yeah.
a privilege. Thank you.
Oh,
You bet.
and Xenon, apart from everything else, thank you for showing off this beautiful avatar that you're wearing. I'm really delighted. I'm just on close up all the time
Good point.
looking at it.
I did not make this avatar. I found it, and it is my travel Avi, right? Because it doesn't rip
right.
apart when I hypergrid.
You don't lose your hair.
But
I don't have any hair.
it just
And it's just,
fantastic.
yeah, it's one bento piece. That's all it is in an alpha. So it's,
Fantastic.
yeah,
Brilliant.
it's great.
All right. And so I will then say thank you to our viewers, and watch for us again the second week in February with another program. And I don't have the list in front of me. Thurza, who are we expecting for February?
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
All
I guess
right.
it's going to be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
We'll watch our Discord. Everything will be shared there. So thank you, everybody. And we are out of here.